We have parallel sessions today, and session in this triple one lecture theater is about financial inclusion. We have three presenters today and discussant. Our first presenter is Rabia Hassan and Mehak Ijaz, and probably Mehak, you are going to present your paper first. Discussant to the session today is Hafsa Hina. She is also here. She is assistant professor at PI. We have two more uh, presenters and discussant. The second discussant for today's session is Abdul Jaleel Saab. He is SPP chair professor at PITE. But for that we'll reintroduce them. In meanwhile, we are waiting for the chair to the session, Mr. Zafar Mahmood Saab, who is president and CEO of the Bank of Punjab, and we'll have an opportunity to hear him for a few minutes, and once heard, then we'll formally start our session, and we'll have our first presenter. So Hamza, over to you. Can you update us if Zafar Saab is online?
Sure, sir. I've corresponded with him. He said he will be here in less than 2 minutes.
Less than 2 minutes. All right, Ji.
Yeah.
Okay. In meanwhile, our program schedule will be so that once the Zafar Saab's speech is over, we'll formally start with the session of the presenter and followed by a discussion. And right after every session, we'll have questions. Due to limitations of the time and some other constraints, we'll keep it restricted to 2 or 3 questions. The session will end by, I guess, 10:50. So we will have to finish everything by then. So as of now, when we are at 5 minutes past 9, we are left with an hour and 10 minutes. So I presume that presenters are requested to keep it short, but of course not sacrificing your main theme. And discussants will also be given a few minutes time. So on average, I believe that if we keep it for 20 minutes session, inclusive of presenters duration, discussants time, and also questions. So we will probably be in a position to end up the session on time because it will be followed by a tight schedule of follow-up sessions in the main hall. So just to tell you that these technical sessions have a purpose to provide a parallel opportunity to present the research findings of the researchers on these August sessions, and also to provide an opportunity of the discussion to be heard and their opinion, their suggestions, and questions from the audience will also be entertained. We generally believe that these opportunities are rare. So the participants are requested, if they are interested to ask a question, तो प्लीज़ आप अपना क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा डिज़ाइन करके कीप इट शॉर्ट एंड डोंट मेक सप्लीमेंट्री क्वेश्चन इन वन क्वेश्चन, short and relevant one. Besides that, in addition to questions, there can be even a suggestion as well. We will welcome that too. Ji Hamza Saab.
Ji sir, Zafar Saab has joined.
He has joined. अच्छा जी. अस्सलाम वालेकुम ज़फर साहब.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी. कोई मुझे जरा मेरी वीडियो ऑन करने देगा
जी जी.
मैं ट्रैफिक को स्विच इट ऑन करके जी.
Thank you very much. Zafar साहब, मेरा नाम डॉक्टर इफ्तिखार अमीन है. आई एम डिप्टी डायरेक्टर एट द इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट साइंसेज, and as you know, this conference is in collaboration with the principal partner PIDE and Pakistan Society for Development Economists. Welcome you, sir, to the session. We'll request you to please share your thoughts with the audience so that then we can formally proceed with the presentation. Depending upon the time limitation and your constraint, you may continue thereafter, or if you feel like you can switch off or can remain busy in your own schedule. Thank you, sir, and over to you.
जी बहुत शुक्रिया डॉक्टर साहब। पहले तो ये कि मेरे लिए बहुत ही ऑनर और फख्र की बात है कि मैं आज ये बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट कॉन्फ्रेंस और बहुत ही अहम फोरम से मुझे मौका मिला और मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी दी गई कि मैं खिताब करूं, बल्कि इसको चेयर करूं, which is even bigger honor for me। मैं अपनी सेहत की वजूहात की बिना पे पाकिस्तान में मौजूद नहीं हूँ, इसलिए मैं फिजिकली हाजिर नहीं हो सकता हूँ, तो मेरी माजरत उस दिन मेरे लिए। लेकिन ये इतनी इम्पोर्टेंट कॉन्फ्रेंस थी कि मेरे इस वक्त सुबह के 4 बजे हुए, लेकिन आई मेड द पॉइंट कि मैं पर्सनली इसको अटेंड करूँ, हालांकि मेरे कोई रिप्रेजेंटेटिव भी वहां पर अटेंड कर सकता था, बट दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस आई अटैच टू दिस कॉन्फ्रेंस। I'll try and stay on as long as possible। अगर आपकी कोई एक्सपेक्टेशन मुझसे है कि टुवर्ड्स द एंड कोई कंक्लूजन पे कुछ चीजें कहनी है, तो I'll be very happy to stay on for 2 hours and then make some kind of concluding remarks as well. So I start out with some sort of a formal sort of remarks on this very important topic of financial inclusion and its importance. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be addressing you at this forum on financial inclusion. I would like to thank the Institute of Management Sciences for hosting us today. I must appreciate the efforts of Dr. Nadeem ul Haq and Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, Pakistan's premier institution, that has taken the action to organize this annual event, showcasing new research and new ideas for better policy making. This session focuses on financial inclusion, its importance, and what can be done to encourage inclusion of the most marginalized segments of the society. I am absolutely privileged to be chairing this session today. I look forward to hearing from the participants as the use of technology, finance and financial literacy to enhance financial inclusion and how Pakistan ranks compared to other countries, particularly in the case of China. It's important to understand what financial inclusion is all about. To me, financial inclusion is a great equalizer, the supernova of economic opportunities. By leveraging access mediums, systems, services, and platforms to extend financing opportunities for everyone. Financial inclusion is one of the key means of alleviating poverty, bolstering bottom-up economic growth, empowering women, uplifting the systematically disenfranchised, raising financial literacy, and fostering entrepreneurship. However, financial inclusion, the great ideal of any financial system, will not be possible until we have developed an inclusive financial ecosystem, a system where users, service providers, markets and intermediaries are free to connect and seamlessly integrate with others in real time with little or no cost. Fostering and developing a financial ecosystem is predicted on 4 main requirements: connectivity, access medium or hardware, regulatory momentum, which is perhaps the most important, and last but not the least is interoperability. According to the World Bank, only 21% of the adult population above 15 years of age have an account with a bank or financial institution. This figure stands well below 80% of Bangladesh, India, 50% of Bangladesh, 80% of India, and the lower middle income countries, 42% in general. For Pakistan to reach the global average alone entails adding nearly 50 million people to our financial ecosystem. Only 7% of adult female, 50 years and plus age in Pakistan have an account with a bank or financial institution. Less than 54% of SMEs have a bank account. 53% of the population remains excluded for formal and informal financial services. Financial inclusion is one of the main reasons why Pakistan has one of the lowest saving rates in the world. At 17% of GDP, which perhaps has gone down now further, Pakistan ranks low compared to the other emerging markets. India 30%, Bangladesh 37%, Thailand 28%, and Vietnam 23%. A lot in this got to do with some kind of cultural aspect as well. But today I will confine myself to only the topic of today, which is financial inclusion. And at different point in time, we do talk about the reasons for the low saving rates as well. This has a negative impact on investment and GDP growth. Now let's look at the reasons why we are where we are, less than half of the global average. The first and the foremost reason is the informality of the economy. Our economy is the informal economy is as large as the formal. These things as well, as we used to talk about, it used to be a longer cycle before, it seems to be a much quicker and faster cycle now. Weaknesses in the legal and the judicial framework. Women exclusion from the formal financial system. 50% of the population or more, but they are not part of the formal financial system of Pakistan. Rudimentary payment system and limited use cases. Although a lot has been done in this space, and there is a continuing progress, but we are still far behind as far as the payment systems are concerned, and the use cases availability is talked about. Standardization in security, interconnectivity, and migratory protocols. And last, identification systems having comprehensiveness of identity verification and data security. In countries like ours, the aspects like standardization and identification of systems having data security become even more critical than the countries around the world. Now, to my mind, although we are all aware the reasons for the importance of financial inclusion, which is part of the topic that has been given to me for today, let me try and cover the key ones this morning. Advancing the financial inclusion agenda in Pakistan will bear numerous and significant effect on the economy at large, and by extension on each one of us. Now that is the most important aspect. We need to realize and accept that financial inclusion agenda is not for a specific sector, is not for a specific community, is not for the section of the society. It is for us all. Increasing financial inclusivity and ensuring the robustness of systems and processes that is entailed by this invariably helps in leading more and more of informal segments of society towards formalization. This sector has numerous benefits of its own. A higher degree of financial inclusion also entails the creation and execution of a more coherent monetary policy, and thereby a more stable economic outlook. I would like to highlight here that, given the fact that our 50% of the economy alone is informal, any decision on the monetary policy front we take is only impacting 50% of the real formal economy. The informal economy flourishes more or discourages depending upon what the monetary policy decisions are. Therefore, it has a direct or indirect impact on all of us, and we need to much appreciate that more better financial inclusion will lead to more coherent monetary policy. In a financial environment that is inclusive and stable, banks and big businesses are well positioned to flourish, creating jobs, stimulating the economy, and raising well-being. Again, impacting all of us as it will impact the economy overall in a positive manner. Organically expanding financial inclusivity is one of the surefire ways to achieve bottom-up economic growth in a sustainable manner. Besides this, widening the financial inclusion network has also been known to have effects such as reduced class disparity and associated biases, as well as aiding in social balancing and, of course, subsiding the risk of terrorism and diversion of our youth towards unhealthy activities. Broadly, the ambit of financial inclusion related initiatives is centered around the following ambitions: to move more people to formal, traceable, transparent, secure, and quick financial transactions, leading to cost savings and reduced corruption; increasing access to bank deposits that enables individuals to accumulate savings in a safe and secure environment; reducing vulnerability of poorer households via minimizing negative impacts of income shocks by dipping on savings or availing insurance products; improving access to credit, thereby improving asset base and enhancing economic opportunities; decreasing proportion of low risk, low return assets held by households for precautionary purposes. Now, having established all this, let's see what Bank of Punjab is doing in making sure that the financial inclusion agenda is pushed forward and taken to the next level. Since BOP is aggressively aligned with the government's agenda of National Financial Inclusion Strategy, the plan is to broaden the scope of clientele and add more institutions in the near future. There are islands of excellence in this space, and BOP is also playing its due role. BOP also foresees becoming a pivotal catalyst that paves the way for financial inclusion in agriculture, housing finance, and women empowerment by establishing bilateral and syndicated relationships with multiple entities in the sector. The most important aspect is walk the talk. If you ask any other financial institution right now, everybody will talk about this. Are they really doing something about it? That's the main question, and that's what we all need to ask them. BOP is working with the government to support the underprivileged segments through subsidized financial products, including Kamyab Jawan program, Naya Pakistan Housing Scheme, and Punjab Rozgar program. I can safely tell you that we are number one bank in all these programs. In fact, yesterday alone, we have been awarded a trophy by the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan for being the number one bank in Punjab, Pakistan, in Kamyab Jawan program in the last 2 years. We were the number one bank. We are the number one bank which has got the highest allocation for Kamyab Pakistan program also, which is to promote the interest-free product to farmers and young entrepreneurs. Our diversity and inclusion initiative is also being taken to the next level. In order to create awareness about it, next slide, awareness about it, we have celebrated a month of financial inclusion, starting from the employee wellness to financial empowerment to welfare product to launching of Mazdoor card. Given the time constraint, I will not get into too much details of this. All I would say is that on the employee wellness program, we have a formal diversity and inclusion policy. We have an affirmative action policy. We have introduced special promotion exercises designed for members of the underrepresented groups in the bank, and we have gender-focused recruitment and female batch hiring. When I say walk the talk, this is what Bank of Punjab is doing, and we expect that the other banks also and financial institutions as well as corporations should follow the suit. On the financial empowerment program, We are already working with State Bank of Pakistan and with the government of Pakistan, as I said earlier, and have been able to disperse a significant amount of money to the women segment alone. Banking on equality, I can safely tell you that we are far ahead of the game as compared to the other competition in the market. We are now particularly focusing on homemakers, salary persons, entrepreneurs, and senior citizens. In this vein, I would like to share with you that on the 28th of November, there is a festival which has been organized by the V Camp in Islamabad, whereby they are showcasing to promote the products of homemade women entrepreneurs, and we are the lead sponsor in that program. On the welfare product side, also this
Zafar
is
sir,
something.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but due to shortage of time, if you can
जी मैं
slightly
एक मिनट आपसे और
Thank
लूंगा,
you.
ऑल्दो जी मैं एक मिनट बस और लूंगा डॉक्टर साहब आपसे, ऑल्दो ये जो अब वेलफेयर प्रोडक्ट्स वाला मामला है, ये मेरे दिल के बहुत ज्यादा करीब है,
जी जी
बट हमने क्योंकि नंबर ऑलरेडी आपको दिखा दिए हैं, तो
जी,
मैं वो
जी।
नंबर्स में और डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगा. अगर
जी।
किसी का कोई सवाल एट द एंड हुआ टाइम तो विल टॉक.
ओके थैंक यू.
सो ठीक है, वेलफेयर प्रोडक्ट्स के अंदर जी हम लोग पंजाब सोशल प्रोटेक्शन अथॉरिटी के साथ मिलके we have introduced khidmat cards for persons with disabilities. We have introduced Zere Talim program for girls, school going girls. We have introduced Bahimat Buzurg program for people women over 65 years of age. We have Ahosh program for pregnant women. We have Masawat program which we have recently launched for the transgenders, and we have still a fund program which has 1,500 beneficiaries of those people who deserve to be recognized for their efforts in Pakistan. We have recently launched the first ever Mazdoor card in Pakistan called Punjab Mazdoor card, in which there are social benefits granted, health benefits granted, there are labor payments to ensure minimum salary levels, and there are SMS and mobile banking. We are also working with the government of Punjab to launch Kisan card and other collaborations of similar products. Dr. Saab, literally at 30 seconds, we will continue to lend our unrelenting support to initiatives designed around uplifting the disenfranchised and extending support to the marginalized in every way we can. I sincerely believe that the Bank of Punjab is setting an example for how banks can play their part in making our country more inclusive, both financially and otherwise. We are hopeful that at our current pace, with our continued efforts to advance the financial inclusion agenda, it will not take long for Pakistan to become one of the most financially inclusive countries in the region. I am certain that we at the Bank of Punjab will do our part and will undoubtedly prove equal to the task. Thank you very much. Ji, I am done, Dr. Sir.
Thank you very much, Zafar Saab. That was his insightful talk on financial inclusion. So, reasons for financial inclusion in Pakistan, and Bank of Punjab's initiative in this area. Now we'll straight away land on the session, and our first presenter for today's session is Mehak Ijaz. She'll talk about estimation of financial inclusion index for developing countries. Madam, due to shortage of time, we'll request if it can be 8 minutes. So,
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good morning. First of all, let me just clarify. This is my student's work. I just supervised her. I'm just presenting on her behalf because she can't come due to some medical reasons. So my apologies before the session starts if there is any kind of mishap. Okay. So estimation of financial inclusion index for developing countries. This is what we have done we have created an index for 75 different countries, which has not been done so far. There are different studies internationally and in Pakistan also. There are few studies which have covered most of the countries and dimensions for financial inclusion index. But this is a comprehensive thing which we tried to come up with, which has not been done. I have to do this. Okay, so the term financial inclusion defined by, as our chair, he has also pointed out very rightly, that financial inclusion defined by World Bank Group that individuals had unlimited access to use the services of financial products that fulfill their financial requirements under the sustainable mechanism. So we'll talk about those mechanisms as well in form of different indicators that we have included in it. So it becomes a challenge for the policymakers to provide affordable solutions that offer greater access to every individual, including the poor and residents of rural and underdeserved areas. So this is, although this is 2017, now we have access to the 2020, like we don't have access to 2020, that is not publicly available, but 2020 is also, as per my research, it is also now on the website of World Bank. So this is financial inclusion index, and according to that, 15% people, 15 years of age people above that, which the last presenter has also talked about, is that in Pakistan it is 21% of the people 15 years of age and above, they are using financial tools. And then you see Pakistan is in, as compared to even Bangladesh, India though is far better than us, and even Kenya. So Pakistan has to go long way towards this. So you see here also women, which is, as the Dr. Nasir, Mr. Nasir has also pointed out rightly, that women are kind of exclusively away from all this. We had to make some policies to bring women into this usage of financial tools. So this is again some statistics which is again borrowed from that survey, which is on financial inclusion. So it is based on the World Bank data. Again, Pakistan is borrowed from financial institution or used as credit cards or borrowed from the family or friends. So which means that informal borrowing is still there. You see in Pakistan, the blue line, it is showing the informal borrowing. Okay, so Pakistan is still हम दोस्तों से, family से borrow करते हैं rather than we use the formal banking system, because people don't have access to the bank accounts. Okay, so this study estimates the financial inclusion index to analyze the struggles of developing countries to achieve the targets of financial inclusion. Furthermore, the study explores the policymakers' perspective that help to promote the financial inclusion. So, more specifically, there are two research questions. The question mark on Okay, what is the current status of financial inclusion in developing countries, and whether or not the current economic policies support the financial inclusion in the developing countries? So there is some listed international studies which have calculated the, let me just make sure that we have just calculated the financial development index, okay? So there are different ways through which people have calculated it, and some of them, they have used the human development index, some of them have used, there is a study was used principal component analysis. That is what we are also going to show you. Okay, then there is a multidimensional index. So it is a study in India. Then there is a study in Mexico. Then this is some, I think so, if I am not wrong, Mr. Jiddi's study is there. So these are the few studies which are done in Pakistan, like in the SAARC countries also Pakistan is included, and Asian economies in this also Pakistan is included. as a part of the cross-sectional studies. So the previous literature, what they have done is the construction of financial inclusion index. They have either used one or two dimensions, and within those dimensions, the indicators that they have used and those sub indices which were there. Okay, they had in one way or another they have not incorporated all those indicators which have been used in the international studies. And then what we have done in the financial inclusion index, there are four further sub-indices, and in those sub-indices, total of 24 indicators have been used. So this research methodology is the estimation of 4 sub-indices, and then it is combined together to form a main index. So basically it is Euclidean formula which we have applied. This is di, which is actual value minus the minimum value, and the maximum value minus which is the value lies between 0 and 1. Okay, and d1 is here access to the financial thing, and then usage, which is I think so here. So it is usage of financial services, availability, and technology and infrastructure. So D1, D2, D3, and D4 are the sub-indices. So here, if the value, the range lies between 0 and 0.3, it means that this country has low financial inclusion. And if the value is between 0.4 and 0.7, it is they are at the medium financial inclusion. And then if the range is 0.7 or above, and then it is high financial inclusion. So when we have finalized all those indicators, for this we have used the data source of Financial Access Survey, and some of the indicators they were taken from World Development indicators. So usage of the financial services include all these 10 further factors, which is financial accounts per 1,000 adults, financial accounts per 1,000 like deposit accounts, loan accounts, then outstanding transactions, which is in form of loans with the commercial banks, then deposits with the commercial banks, the number of cards, debit cards and credit cards, number of borrowers with the commercial banks per 1,000 adults for the usage of financial services, the number of depositors, again per 1,000 adults, and then domestic credit provided by the financial sector, percentage of the GDP, and then GDP, the percentage gross domestic savings. Then availability of financial access includes the ATMs, which is it's at the distance also, and for 100,000 adults. Then commercial bank branches, and then commercial bank branches again, distance or for adults. Then technology.
Madam, 2 more minutes. So
Okay,
the most important portion,
fine.
especially the analysis, is
I'll just go through it. Okay, and these are the technology and infrastructure sub-factors. I have talked about the data. These are 75 countries listed here, and the data is from 2010 to 2018. It's a panel data. So these are the countries low level of financial inclusion में. We have Chile, we have Zimbabwe, Switzerland, and Uganda, Malaysia, and all these key. And then medium level of financial inclusion में, we have Afghanistan, we have Pakistan in this, we have Uzbekistan, Sudan, and in Georgia, okay, Kenya, and all. And then high level of financial inclusion में, we have Turkey, we have India, and for the comparison, yes, Bangladesh is also there. So high level of financial inclusion, we have our you see neighbor countries, which is India and Bangladesh. So we are a bit behind those countries. So this study supports the struggle of policymakers towards achieving the financial inclusion in developing countries. The countries having low financial inclusion facing the barrier of lack of financial knowledge, cultural barrier. Jesse last presenter, we have also talked about the reasons for low financial inclusion, which includes people preferences while focusing on the expansion of financial access. And then there are countries having progress towards medium-term financial inclusion, introduce their financial inclusion strategy and inclusion policies to introduce the era of digital innovation in the economy. Countries having progress towards high financial focusing of regulatory framework and focusing of the consumer protection to avoid the spillover effect of the financial inclusion. So these are the countries who have taken initiative already. They are like for the financial inclusion, and here we have, I think so, Pakistan as well. We are also, yes, the growth of MSME sector. So these are the small and medium enterprise. So yes, financial literacy पे भी focus किया जा रहा है in countries पे, and these are the barriers, which includes high cost, financial constraints, social and cultural barriers. So this is
Madam, I think we. Okay, right. Thank you very much,
Thank
Madam.
you, sir. So these are the lessons.
We have with us Hafsa
Thank you so
Hina.
much.
She's assistant professor at PIDE and discussant for this session. Madam, please.
Dr. Sabha, I would like to make a comment on this.
Please, sir. You are most welcome.
Very quick comment. Because in this presentation, the one big thing which is missing is the literacy rate. And I think we need to highlight that and keep on hammering it. I have the privilege of working in Africa. And as you know, and surprisingly, the real financial inclusion initiative started from Kenya, especially technology based. And the literacy rate in Africa, as you will all know, is actually very, very high, particularly the countries like Zambia and Zimbabwe, where literacy rates are over 90%. So therefore, we need to understand that it's the ecosystem where literacy rate plays a very important role. And today's conference and the August gathering, which is out here, the literacy rate plays a pivotal role in terms of promoting financial inclusion, and that should be part and parcel of any index that will develop in terms of financial inclusion growth. Thank you very much, Dr.
Sir.
I really appreciate the author for selecting such an important topic because, as Dr. Safar Sab said, that financial inclusion is a key to sustainable development. And I quickly discuss this paper. First, I will start from the literature review. The sequencing of the literature is absent, and literature should be organized like a story based on issue rather than an annotated bibliography of the studies. I have found no up-to-date studies after 2016, and recently I found a study which is published in 2021 on the same topic by TREM, and they included 41 countries over the period of 2010 to 2018. So in the existence of this study, the contribution of the current study is faded out. As far as the methodology is concerned, and we know that there three dimensions are commonly used for the construction of this dimension, that is usage, barriers, and the access. So I would recommend to the authors that they should separate usage from the barriers. They have combined two dimensions in one index. And as far as the usage is concerned, I would recommend to include the number of deposit to non-financial institutions like credit unions, credit corporates, besides the number of deposit accounts to commercial banks. And similarly, as far as the technology and the infrastructure is concerned, I would recommend to focus or be specific to those technologies that are specific to banking sector and infrastructure that is specific to security and foreign exchange markets rather than taking in journal form railways and investment in infrastructure. Similarly, when we come to the estimation and the methodology, I think author is confused between the estimation and the calculation. They have calculated the index rather than the estimation because we know that the financial inclusion is an unobservable concept, and the standard technique of estimation is not suitable to estimate the parameters. So I think they should need to revise the title of this paper. It's not the estimation, they have measured. And as far as the discussion, the author has clearly mentioned that the high fees, long listed documents, informal channel of saving, and the level of poverty are the key drivers of low financial inclusions. But none of these dimension is covered in the estimation and the measurement of this index. So I would recommend that the discussion, recommendation, and conclusion should be based on the indicators used in this analysis, or either they would include these dimension. Otherwise, it seems like a meaningless exercise. And in the limitations of the study, authors clearly stated that due to the limitation of the data, they assign equal weights to each sub-indices. But they have, earlier they said that they are estimating these indices, the weights through principal component analysis. So again, the revision and correction is needed here. And I also recommend that they should incorporate the country-specific characteristics like rural-urban divide, gender-related aspects, and especially the more important thing is that should consider the non-resident banking activities. Without considering these factors, that we will end up that the Switzerland and the other countries have higher financial inclusion rather than other countries. Thank you.
Instead of taking 6 questions, single comment or question is to this session. Please.
Sir, I would like to ask a
Please.
question.
Those are keep it short so that we save time.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. I'm Zahoor Khan, serving Institute of Management Sciences as Assistant Professor in Economics. Regarding the last presentation, when it comes to the different dimensions of financial inclusion, it takes into account access, usage, and of course the quality of these services and products. So I guess the quality of these products and services, that important component is missing. Ma'am, she commented on several important technical aspects of it. For example, whether you want to calculate this index in terms of achievement, deprivations, how did you assign the weights, why equal weights, how the aggregation and disaggregation of all these things. So I guess the quality of these services available at the different forums, whether it's coming from the banks or whether it is coming from the agent-based banking services or mobile banking services. So that is also an important component of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. My name is Asim Said. I'm a member of the Planning Commission of Pakistan. So just a quick observation here. I won't go into the estimation and the methodology. So your definition says access to financial inclusion, people not only servicing them but fulfilling their needs. तो उसके बाद जब आप estimate करती हैं अपनी index, तो उसके अंदर the countries which came in the high index, high number towards 1 were Bangladesh, India, Indonesia. But in the same slide somewhere, the same countries were catering to their financial needs from the informal family, and friends. So the question is, okay, while they are still on the higher side and financially included as per the index, but still वो informal sector से वो use हो रहा है. तो उसका क्या reason है? What is the main? क्या ये index उसको really cover कर रहा है? This is catering to the needs part. एक है access part, एक है needs part. So while the countries are on the higher end of the index, they are more financially included. That's what it is saying, but it doesn't really jive in or align with the definition.
Okay, Ji, thank you for suggestions from the participants. Our next session is the role of financial literacy.
So we can say that there are 94% of adults who have an account in high-income economies, while the 63% of adult populations have an account in developing countries. The China has the world's largest unbanked population, which is about 225 million, followed by the India, who has 190 million, Pakistan 100 million, and Indonesia 95 million. All these 4 economies together with the other 3 economies
Nigeria, Mexico, and the Bangladesh are the home to nearly half of the world unbanked population, which is discussed that the unbanked population is 1.7 billion. So among these 7 countries, the 5 countries belong to the Asia region. So that's why the Asia has a very high unbanked population, according to the Findex data 2017. In South Asian countries, among all these countries, as you can see that the Pakistan has a very low level of financial inclusion, which is about 18% as compared to Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka. Barriers to financial inclusion among South Asian countries are also given that among these, the Pakistan cited the most important reason that they lack insufficient funds for not having an account in bank. Lenovo studied that they studied observed that within Pakistan about 53.8% of unbanked adults lack the necessary documentation and the lack of the money as the main hurdle for their unbanking. And they also consider the 50.7% of unbanked adults reported the personal reasons. Personal reason means that they consider themselves they have low level of financial inclusion, they have low level of financial literacy, and the self-confidence regarding the use of the financial product and the services. So also the State Bank of Pakistan and the government of Pakistan has many reforms and made changes in order to increase the financial inclusion in Pakistan, but still the people face difficulty in order to understand the financial concept regarding the financial product and the services. So the research gap is that the people, in order to bring about the real inclusive economic growth in a country, it is important that we should develop the capabilities within the individual so that may be able to understand the financial inclusion in real terms. So personal reasons include the capability. Here we discuss the capabilities of two types, the financial literacy and the financial self-efficacy. Financial literacy means the information regarding the financial product and the services and the terms related to the everyday activities. And the financial self-efficacy means the level of confidence an individual has in his ability to undertake financial management, deal with financial situation and access and the use of the financial product and the services. This study is also important because this study considers the financial inclusion from the demand side perspective. They consider the financial inclusion in terms of the person who have an account, and also in order to bring about the real inclusive economic growth within a country, it is important to consider the financial inclusion in terms of access, usage and the quality. Access means the measure the physical range of the financial product and the services available to the customer, and the usage means how they have the ability to utilize those products and the services, and the quality measure the relevancy of the financial product and the services according to the customer needs. While previous studies have considered the financial inclusion from supply side perspective, they measure the financial inclusion in terms of financial depth, cumulative banking data, or in terms of availability and accessibility component, how the branches are covering the financial product, financial consumers. So based on that, our research objective is to examine the relationship between the financial literacy and financial inclusion, and to examine the effect of financial self-efficacy on the relationship between financial literacy and financial inclusion in Pakistan. A theoretical model includes that financial literacy has a significant impact on financial self-efficacy, and the financial self-efficacy has a significant impact on financial inclusion. And also how in this we conducted the study in Sahiwal division and also considered the 307 adult users of financial products and the services. And the instrument is adopted, and we use the data analysis techniques, descriptive stats, data normality, reliability, and the validity analysis and structure equation modeling. These are the results. The mediating effect of financial self-efficacy is significant at 1% of level of significance, as this table shows the results. Our estimated result shows that the financial literacy leads to financial inclusion in form of access, usage, and the quality. And also the financial self-efficacy mediates the relationship between financial literacy and financial inclusion. This study has a major contribution towards the State Bank of Pakistan 2 strategy, that is financial inclusion strategy, that they are considered that the person should have an account in a financial institution. But this study contributes that they should also consider its dimension like access, usage, and quality in order to bring about the inclusive economic growth in a real terms. And also, this study is important, also contributes to the State Bank nationwide financial literacy programs, as it recommends that there should be the more programs developed for the banked population too, so that they may be able to understand the financial product and the services, latest financial product and the services, and utilize them actively. And after this, they should have the ability to, and later that they should have the ability to consider its impact on their life. And this is measured by their confidence level, which is developed through their active utilization and the active involvement by using the financial product and the services.
Thank you, madam. Shortage of time.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. It's a really a good paper. First of all, thank you very much. At least आपने अपनी presentation manage की time पे. जी, thank you. देखें, जब भी कभी हम काम करते हैं ना माइक्रो डेटा से, इट्स ऑल इट इज अ वेरी गुड पेपर. जब कभी भी होता है, क्योंकि हम काम कर रहे होते हैं, बड़ी मेहनत करके कर रहे होते हैं, लेकिन द प्रॉब्लम विद योर प्रेजेंटेशन एंड विद योर पेपर दैट कि आपने पहले फिंडेक्स का डेटा उठा के उसको बहुत देर तक एनालिसिस किया. मतलब आप 21 आपकी स्लाइडें और 14 स्लाइडों तक तो आप किसी का काम बता रही हैं. मतलब फिंडेक्स इज नॉट योर वर्क ना. आप एक समरी टेबल होता है बता देते हैं. आपका अपना काम हमने नहीं देखा. वो जो आपने 307 बंदों पे सर्वे किया, उसकी स्टैटिस्टिक्स वो हमें नहीं पता लगी, आप हमें नहीं बता सकें. 21 पेजेस पे 28 पेजेस का आपका पेपर है और आपके अपना काम जो है ना वो 15वें 16वें पेज पे जाके आ रहा है, राइट. तो इसलिए सबसे पहले अपने काम पे फोकस करें. दिस इज़ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. दूसरा, आपने बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लिया है पेपर में रिव्यू ऑफ द फिंडेक्स और रिव्यू ऑफ द पाकिस्तानी फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन एरिया और रिव्यू ऑफ द मैनी अदर थिंग्स, राइट. जैसे कहते आप अपने काम पे आती हैं और बिल्कुल डंप हो जाती हैं कि यार कि मैंने इसके साथ करना क्या है ना, कि आपने बहुत एफर्ट की हुई उस पेपर में नज़र आता है, राइट. ठीक. तीसरी चीज़ जो इम्पोर्टेंट थी वो ये थी कि आपने कहीं पे बताया नहीं है कि जो आप मेथोडोलॉजी इस्तेमाल कर रही हैं ये मैं क्यों कर रही हूँ. मेथोडोलॉजी में ट्रेडिशनल मेथोडोलॉजी से मैंने काम क्यों नहीं किया है. वो अभी डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया भी था कि हम जब फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन के साथ काम कर रहे होते हैं तो ट्रेडिशनल मेथोडोलॉजी से काम क्यों नहीं करते होते हैं. तो वो आप डायरेक्ट अपने कंफर्मेटरी एनालिसिस के ऊपर आ गई हैं, मीडिएटिक एनालिसिस के ऊपर आ गई हैं, लेकिन आपने उसको ना जस्टिफाई नहीं किया कि ये मैं क्यों इस्तेमाल कर रही हूँ. ये इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है. और चौथी बात यह है कि आपका बहुत सारा जो एनालिसिस है ना वो मुझे देख के ना लग नहीं रहा था कि यार ये किसी इकोनॉमिस्ट का एनालिसिस है. मतलब लगता रहा था कि स्टैटिस्टिशियन का एनालिसिस है. वो बहुत सारी जगहों पे आपने बहुत सारा एनालिसिस करके बताया, लेकिन वो स्टैटिस्टिकल फॉर्म, मतलब उसकी इकोनॉमिक्स उसके पीछे क्या है, वो कैसे आएगी, वो क्या होगी, मतलब वो मुझे नज़र नहीं आ रही. तो इसके ऊपर फोकस कीजिएगा. यानी कि अगर आप अपने पेपर में से ना शुरू वाला पार्ट, फिंडेक्स वाला पार्ट निकाल के फोकस करें अपने साहिवाल वाले पार्ट पे और उसकी इकोनॉमिक्स पे आ जाए तो आपका पेपर बहुत अच्छा पेपर है माशाल्लाह. मतलब ये इस पर मैं कंफर्म हूँ, राइट. और चौथी बात यह कि जब थीसिस में से पेपर निकाल रही होती है ना तो कम से कम मुझे नहीं पता लगना चाहिए कि जब थीसिस में से पेपर निकला है कि आपने खुद रॉ पेपर लिखा है. तो आपके पेपर की जो सेटिंग है ना वो बिल्कुल ना लग रहा था कि देयर इज एन एक्सट्रैक्शन फ्रॉम द थीसिस, राइट. तो वो इसलिए ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. और बाकी वो जो मैडम ने एक कमेंट दिया था पहले वाले पेपर में भी कि मतलब आपका लिटरेचर रिव्यू ना एक एनोटेटेड बायोग्राफी नहीं होनी चाहिए. लिटरेचर रिव्यू में रिव्यू आपके अपने काम के ऊपर जो चीज़ें फोकस कर रही हैं उसी के ऊपर ख्याल करें. नंबर ऑफ पेपर्स आर नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. 2 पेपर हैं, आप बता दें लोगों ने काम किया, बस ये स्टोरी मेरी स्टोरी के साथ ये स्टोरी इस तरह से अटैच हो रही है. बस मतलब आपने अपनी दास्तान बतानी, अपनी दास्तान के साथ लोगों की दास्तान सुनानी है कि यार कि लोगों ने ये बात की तो मैं भी ये बात कह रही हूँ, या मैं ये बात क्यों नहीं कह रही हूँ, राइट. बहुत सारे पेपर्स को वहाँ पे बेसिकली आप क्या कर रहे होते हैं, आप किलिंग द मोटिवेशन ऑफ द रीडर कि यार ये मुझे क्यों बताई जा रही है कि फलाने ने भी ये काम किया, फलाने ने भी ये काम किया, फलाने ने भी ये काम किया. तो फोकस रहें आप. और पॉलिसी इम्प्लीकेशन पे आप ना जाके ना बहुत सारा शेकी हो जाती हैं, मतलब डर डर के आपने पॉलिसी इम्प्लीकेशन बताई. फोकस टू द पॉइंट, स्ट्रॉन्ग मैसेज, राइट. और जब कभी आप माइक्रो डेटा से काम करें अब तो कोविड इज़ अ वेरी पिवटल फैक्टर.
मतलब इसने कम से कम ये फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन और ये जो बैंकिंग है और ई बैंकिंग है, कोविड ने इसको बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज किया है। तो आपके पूरे एनालिसिस में कोविड का कोई लफ्ज़ नहीं आया। वो वजह इसलिए नहीं आया कि आप ना बहुत ज़्यादा मुतासिर थी उससे फिंडेक्स वाले क्वेश्चन से। तो पाइट का बहुत सारा काम है कोविड के ऊपर, और इस दफ़ा उसको रीड करें थोड़ा सा अपना। अगर आप चीज़ों को बीच में लेके आए तो आपको खुद लगेगा कि यार कि आपने अपने पेपर को बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा कर लिया है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
डॉक्टर साहब एक कमेंट मैं भी करना चाहता हूँ, अगर आप इजाजत दें। जी वेरी गुड,
appreciate
जी सर,
some comments.
जी आपकी आवाज मुझे नहीं आ रही, जी फरमाइए।
जी Zafar Saab, we'll appreciate if you have some insightful comments on the paper or the study.
जी जी जी, मेरी गुजारिश ये होगी कि जनरली ये जितने पेपर्स होते हैं आपकी यूनिवर्सिटीज की और इवन पाइट की, इसके अंदर जो इनपुट होती है फ्रॉम द बिजनेसेस एंड प्रोफेशनल साइड, ये जनरली लैकिंग होती है। मेरी गुजारिश ये होगी कि प्लीज हम बहुत विल बी वेरी प्लीज टू वर्क विद यू एंड विद द अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस टू हेल्प यू इन गिविंग द एंगल ऑफ द रियलिटीज ऑन द ग्राउंड एज वेल। कहते हैं ना फील्ड की फीडबैक, वो भी हम आपको दे सकते हैं। तो अगर ये पेपर्स आप हमारे साथ शेयर कर लें, साइम इज जो हमारे चीफ इकोनॉमिस्ट है, ही इज आल्सो ऑनलाइन, वी विल बी वेरी प्लीज टू वर्क विद यू एंड गिव आवर इनपुट एज वेल to make it more meaningful from an implementation standpoint and do some work on our part also to help implementing it. Thank you.
Thank you sir, आपने बहुत generous offer दिए, और we'll appreciate the presenters if they can take the opportunity जो कि ज़फ़र साहब और उनकी टीम हमें ऑफर कर रही है। Our next presenter is Mohsin Raza, I guess. अच्छा जी, और इनका पेपर है रोल ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजीज ऑन एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन, एविडेंस फ्रॉम साउथ पंजाब, पाकिस्तान। प्लीज, टाइम वुड बी अराउंड 8 minutes, सो आपको कॉल फिर हम 2 minutes बिफोर इट एंड्स मैं दे दूंगा। थैंक यू।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। So topic was the role of information and communication technologies on agriculture production, evidence from South Punjab, Pakistan. So, if we talk about the information and communication technologies, so what they are, the information and communication technologies are technologies which transfer information through telecommunication devices like mobile phone, radio, television, and internet, etc. So, agriculture development cannot be perceived without utilizing modern technologies like information and communication technologies, because we know that the land has fixed size, but the population is increasing rapidly day by day. So there is need of these type of technologies to enhance the agriculture production. So IT uses in agriculture is almost as old as the history of ICT. Without the invention of mobile phone and before the invention of mobile phone, internet and etc., farmer uses different services like postal services and messengers to communicate with each other. So in modern era, farmers use different forms of ICT, like they get information through mobile phones, television. At the moment, information and communication technologies revolution upcoming rapidly and noticeable. With the commencement of information and communication technology, the traditional agriculture has been replaced. So if we talk about context to Pakistan, the agriculture sector is a backbone of Pakistan economy. It has a major contribute, for example, its contribution 90.55% to the GDP of Pakistan, and it absorbs the almost 38.5% populations, and approximately 65 to 70% people's livelihood depend on the agriculture. Productivity and sustainability of the agriculture sector largely depend upon the effectiveness and quality of extension services. In Pakistan, extension services using the distinct mechanism for the circulation of agriculture information and knowledge between the farming communities. So if we talk about current statistics of Pakistan related to agriculture research stations, currently more than 360 agriculture research stations are working under provincial and federal governments of Pakistan. A research which is conducted in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa indicate that there is only one agriculture officer is available with 319 farmers families in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and approximately 410 farm family in Punjab. So, if we talk about the mobile phones, because everyone has access to mobile phones, and mobile phones play an important role to access the agriculture information related to agriculture. If we talk about the problem statement, agriculture is value added sector in Pakistan, there is no doubt about this, but as we can see that there is lack of novelty. We are using still traditional methods to produce agriculture products, and there is also outdated methods of production, like still in the villages farmers use oxes to plug in their fields. There is need to achieve self-sufficiency in agriculture output. In literature, we can see that different studies conducted to estimate the role of information and communication technology agriculture productivity. The Liu and Liu 2016 estimated agriculture production function based on 81 countries to show the empirical evidence, and Churcher 2014 also conducted a study to check the impact, and it goes on. And if we talk about the recent studies, Abdus and Muhammad 2009 examines the farmers' perception of the use of information communication technology in agriculture systems, how the farmers think, what are their concerns. That was the basic purpose of that study. ICT is very effective communication instrument among farmers, pension workers. This study was conducted Salman and Khan in 2020. So many studies have been conducted to explain what ICT contribute to agriculture productions, and also literature covers a wide variety of. But in Pakistan, there is studies concerning macro level impact of ICT. It is hard to find such study to investigate the role of ICT on South Punjab, as South Punjab is backward area. So according to our best knowledge, there is no such study conducted. Our research objective was to investigate the impact of ICT. Okay, sir. So we used research methodology, descriptive research we used, and study area was South Punjab. We selected 4 districts from the South Punjab, and sampling technique used clusters and persistent sampling. We conducted data from 2,200 farmers by using the Cochrane sample formula, and we distributed a questionnaire to collect the data, and question asked the information regarding from farmer regarding the access and uses of ICT information regarding conventional inputs, land, labor, and perceptions of farmer regarding effectiveness. We conducted a reliability test by using the Cronbach alpha. So its value was 0.78, which is acceptable. For data analysis, we used both 2 methods, descriptive statistics as well as structural equation modeling. Model specific, this is functional form of model. In this ICT is information communication, CNI is conventional inputs, LND land, EDU age, and LBR labor. So in this we use the descriptive steps to check the impact of ICT. So as when the data collected, there was season of wheat, so we collected data about the wheat productions. So we can we ask farmers about what was their production before using like ICT along with other information, and these are the statistics, and we found by using the descriptive statistics there were 54.8% increase and 77.9%.
Mohsin, if you can please to the key findings so that we can conclude the
so
session.
this was our structural modeling findings, and we can see that the p values are significant, and information communication technology, conventional input, land, education, labor has a positive impact on agriculture production, while the land has negative impact on the agriculture productions, and our R value was 0.74, which means that 74% variation explained by the ICT towards agriculture productions. So, in conclusion, marks in economics and social development information community are important factors. There is need to incorporate them. In policy recommendations, rural areas should be developed with provided with necessary important structure. There should be linkage between remote areas through road, bridge, telecommunication, and facilities. And there is a government which can play important role in conducting training and skills, because farmers have lack of knowledge to use these technologies. So their research organization and just play important role to train them and provide skills. It is also suggested proper agriculture literature should be broadcast on televisions. Future research can be conducted, and we use them only 4 to 5 forms of ICT which was used in South Punjab. The further studies can be done by incorporating more ICT types, and we only use the South Punjab area. Further study can be done on other provinces or overall Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohsen.
Doctor, if I may, I would like to make a couple
yes,
of comments.
what to you, please?
अच्छा, ये मैं बहुत मुझे खुशी हुई है, and my felicitations to the presenters of this document. बड़ा important aspect है. हमने अभी recently एक joint research की है as Bank of Punjab with the Planning Commission and PIDE, जिसमें हमने ये assess करने की कोशिश की है कि direct and indirect impact of agriculture on our economy. एक narrative built किया गया है in the last few decades that agriculture is perhaps not important in the GDP growth, which is not a truth reflection, and therefore direct contribution is merely 20% or less or thereabout. We have done the assessment and we've come to this conclusion that the real contribution is in the vicinity of 45%. And it's a study of its own kind. And then we also, on the information, as the gentleman just said, we worked a lot in terms of making sure that we advertise it also and make it known to people. So we did a webinar on it. It was very successful. And we made Dawn as our business partner, one of the serious media players. And they did a one-hour program exclusively on this on TV. We'll be very happy if I had known about this. We would have sent the hard copies across. But जो soft copies है डॉक्टर साहब, वो मैं अभी हमजा से और साइन जो मेरे colleagues यहाँ पर हैं online, मैं उनसे कहूँगा कि वो forward कर दे organizers को, और अगर आप चाहें तो we'll be happy to share that research report with your participants and whoever else is interested in it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. आपके generous offer शुरू से ही शुरू हैं, right from your being agreeing to be chair of the session to other suggestions. We'll definitely take advantage of that. Thank you, Mohsen. We will thank you very much for your presentation. In meanwhile, Zafar Saab, some of questions are probably questions or comments taking advantage of your presence. वो हैं, तो हम उनको थोड़ा सा मौका देंगे एंड आपसे कुछ डिस्कशन करेंगे. थैंक यू.
Assalamu alaikum, Zafar Saab. Dr. Zahoor is here from AND Sciences. Zafar Saab, I would like to know your opinion on it, that regarding your presentation, that why Pakistan is lagging behind. Though we have, if we look at to the Easy Pass intervention, this is, I guess, the second largest intervention after the M-Pesa in Kenya, initiated over there. Though we have the branchless banking right now, the mobile banking operations, the agent-based banking, conventional banking, and a lot of other things we are doing now. But still we are lagging behind in terms of access to these facilities. So whether it's all because these facilities are not appropriate, or it's not grounded in the needs of the people, or whether it's all because of the deficit of trust, that people don't trust in these financial products and services, or whether it's all because of the awareness, that we don't have the proper awareness and financial literacy. So, particularly in context of Pakistan, I would like to seek your opinion on it. Thank you very much, sir.
जी शुक्रिया। मैंने अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में कोशिश तो की थी कुछ एस्पेक्ट को कवर करने की, वो 4-5 की एस्पेक्ट्स मैंने हाईलाइट किए हैं। I don't know what the preference of language is, Dr. Sir, but you know I'll keep on switching between Urdu and English. I don't know if there are any foreigner or participants there, but you know perhaps dual language would help. देखिए बात ये है कि एक तो वो ट्रेडिशनल एलिमेंट्स है जो आपने बात की है। मैं आपको जो अपना एक्सपीरियंस है वो शेयर करता हूँ, और मेरे हिसाब से ये इतना आसान नहीं है कि ये 1 या 2 या 3 या 4, इट्स द एंटायर इकोसिस्टम which needs to be reviewed and assessed before we come to a conclusion कि क्या हमारा फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन का लेवल कम क्यों है। स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट, वी आर अ हाईली स्पेंडिंग कंट्री। आप अगर बांग्लादेश या इंडिया की एग्जांपल लेते हैं या श्रीलंका की एग्जांपल लेते हैं, द लाइफस्टाइल ऑफ पीपल एंड देयर लेवल ऑफ सेविंग्स इज मच हायर। चाइना को छोड़ दीजिए तो 40% प्लस के ऊपर बैठा है। So the primary and the foremost aspect is we as a country do not have the culture of saving as such, of using the banking channels. We would like to spend more than what we earn. This is the most important aspect. Second aspect जो मैंने एक प्रेजेंटर के शुरू में उन्होंने प्रेजेंट किया था, मैं इसमें बड़ा जेन्युइनली बिलीव करता हूँ कि जो हमारा लिटरेसी लेवल है ओवरऑल, that plays a very critical role in terms of promoting financial inclusion. अभी मैंने फर्स्ट हैंड अफ्रीका में नोटिस किया था कि वहां पर जब ये फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन की पूरी कैंपेन चली थी, और आज से 13 साल पहले, तो वहां 3 महीने के अंदर आपको रिजल्ट आने शुरू हो गए थे, क्योंकि हर आदमी अंग्रेजी बोलता था और द मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज वाज इंग्लिश देयर। हमारे यहाँ जो एक बहुत बड़ा एक डेफिसिट है वो ये लैंग्वेज का डेफिसिट है और लिटरेसी लेवल का डेफिसिट है। ऑल्दो हार्डवेयर में वी डन अ लॉट ऑफ प्रोग्रेस एंड नाउ ऑलमोस्ट एवरीबॉडी हैज अ स्मार्टफोन। तीसरा जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया है वो ये है कि हमारी एक कॉमन लैंग्वेज जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा डाइल्यूट हो गई है। देयर इज एन उर्दू कॉन्फ्रेंस दैट इज हैपनिंग इन कराची फ्रॉम 9th to 12th एंड आई एम कमिंग बैक टू पाकिस्तान 11। मुझे उन्होंने वहां पर कंक्लूडिंग सेशन पे एज ए स्पीकर इनवाइट किया है, और मैं उस पर ये बात करने जा रहा हूँ कि उर्दू और उसका मईशत के ऊपर इम्पैक्ट। मेरे ख्याल से जो हमारी अगर प्रमोशन ऑफ लैंग्वेज और अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ लैंग्वेज जो बाइंडिंग फोर्स उर्दू नजर आती है अब इस दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम, तो हम मेरे ख्याल से अगर हम वो मीडियम को सही तरह अडॉप्ट कर सकें और उसको प्रमोट कर सकें, तो लोगों की फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन में एक आगाही बढ़ेगी और उनके लिए उसके अंदर पार्टिसिपेशन जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली बेहतर होगी। और लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट इज आवर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ फिस्कल पॉलिसी। अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारे यहाँ over a period of time we have been too focused on the monetary policy aspect and we've totally avoided the fiscal policy aspect. Or with that leads to the informality of economy, and that leads eventually into a lack of financial inclusion. हमें उसको बहुत केयरफुली रिव्यू करना पड़ेगा और प्रमोट करना पड़ेगा वहां पर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ लॉज को, वहां पर इंकरेजमेंट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी को, वहां encouragement of people coming into the tech system, not the harassment, and the element of recognizing the importance of people coming into the financial inclusion. बाकी तो conventional बातें हैं, वो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं कि हार्डवेयर नहीं है, इंटरऑपरेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ये सारी चीजें फिक्सेबल है। मगर हमारे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर आप मुझे स्पेसिफिकली पूछेंगे तो ये 3, 4, 5 चीजें हैं जो लैकिंग है और इनके ऊपर काम करना बहुत शिद्दत के साथ जरूरी है। हम लीफ फ्रॉग कर गए हैं। अभी वो गालिबन फाइट के प्रोफेसर थे जिन्होंने बहुत खूबसूरत कमेंट्स दिए थे, पहली लाइन में बैठे इनफैक्ट सामने नजर आ रहे हैं मुझे। कि ये कोविड जो है इसने एक एक्सेलरेशन दे दी है, बूस्ट दे दिया है टू दी ओवरऑल टेक्नोलॉजी adoption को और acceptance को. I think we have to capitalize on that right and make sure कि हम उसका advantage लेते हुए फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन को जितना प्रमोट कर सके उतना अच्छा. मगर अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो मैंने आपको एस्पेक्ट्स बताए ना, इनका कोई शॉर्ट टर्म सोल्यूशन नहीं है. We need to recognize and agree that short term solutions do not exist any further. Whether these are policy making issues are concerned, difficult decisions are concerned, monetary policy is concerned, we have to undertake medium to long term reform to achieve a financial inclusion. और जल्दी किस चीज की है मुझे तो ये समझ में नहीं आता. ये हमें जो है वो अपनी जात से और अपनी उम्रों से आगे चीजों को देखना है. जनरेशंस की तो एजेस जो है वो डेकेड्स सेंचुरीज के ऊपर होती हैं. मैं कल भी किसी से जिक्र कर रहा था, एक नेटफ्लिक्स का टीवी सीरियल है पीकी ब्लाइंडर्स. वो आप देखिएगा 200 साल पहले क्या हालत थी यूके की. मैं यहाँ बैठा हुआ हूँ अभी, वो हमसे भी बदतर थे, बट ओवर अ पीरियड टाइम वो ग्रेजुएट किए और वहां तक पहुंचे. वी आर ऑल्सो ऑन द राइट पाथ प्रोवाइडेड वी प्रेस फॉर द राइट बटन. एंड वो प्लीज डोंट एक्सपेक्ट दैट द गवर्नमेंट विल डू इट. वी हैव टू डू इट. यू हैव टू डू इट. फ्रेंकली दिस फोरम टुडे, डॉक्टर साहब मैं अपने आप को बहुत प्रिविलेज समझ रहा हूँ इस फोरम पे आज, बिकॉज ये जो आपकी फर्टिलिटी यहाँ बैठी हुई है, मेरे जितनी रिस्पेक्ट इनके लिए है वो किसी और के लिए नहीं है. आप लोग जहाद कर रहे हैं, आप लोग जो है वो फ्यूचर जनरेशन बना रहे हैं, और हम उसमें सिर्फ एक छोटा सा एक शेयर डालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. और मेरी कोशिश ये होगी कि हम वो शेयर आपके साथ डालते रहें. सो देयरफॉर वो कहते हैं ना, चले हैं तो कट ही जाएगा सफर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. I think we have to, each one of us has to work in that direction in making sure.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so very much, sir, कि कॉर्पोरेट और एकेडेमिया इतना कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं, and for your time as well. बहुत शुक्रिया जी. अल्लाह हाफिज.
Great.
Thank you.